What is up, everybody? Hello to everyone. Thanks for joining us again. Stu and I are back at it today, and we are going to take a little walk down the Pokemon path today, Pocket Monsters. And specifically, we want to do some scanner tests, see how some of these come through. I do mostly sports trading cards, a little bit of non-sport, but I don't do a lot of Pokemon. My boys kind of specialize in the Pokemon market. I got involved a little bit when I got them started in it, but then I kind of drifted away from the Pokemon, stuck more to my sports and traditional non-sport stuff. But they are still pretty heavily in the Pokemon, and I asked them for a few samples to test out the scanning in the scanner, see how the images result. And then we can also test out how CDP does in finding a match for those. So that's what we're going to do today, and we're going to do it right after this. Welcome back. Thank you again for joining us today at JC3 Cards and Collectibles. We are going to walk through a sample of scanning some Pokemon cards today. We're going to see how the images are, and then we're going to see how CDP handles them and see if they come up with a good match. First time running through some Pokemon cards and in both the scanner and Card Dealer Pro. So I'm going to see live results at the same time you are, because I haven't tried to run these through before. So let's take a look at what we've got here. I've got I've got 5 Pokemon cards here we're going to try and run through. And they are varying different types of cards. This has got the hollow image. This is a 95 Machamp. If we can get a good look at that, you can see just that square in the top half has kind of an ice hollow image to it. So we'll see how that scans. Actually, why don't we just jump into them one by one instead of going back and forth. So again, here you see the actual image, and if I get the light just right, you might be able to see that ice. There you go. You can see a little bit of that ice refractor type image. It's just this square up on top. The rest of it is a basic card. I also see there's a little bit of chipping on this. I don't think you're going to be able to see that. Yeah, there's a little bit of chipping. If you get this in your hand, you would notice that. So let's see. I already sent it through the scanner. Let's see how that scan turned out. So here you see the image in the scanner app. You don't see the shine of the hollow, but you can see it's got a different texture there. If you were to look this card up and it said like an ice hollow, I think you would know that. If this was a full image card, I might still want to maybe take a photograph with my phone. But I think this might play actually to send through a listing app. I think it gives enough detail to understand exactly what you're getting. You see a little bit of imperfections in here. You see one chip there, maybe another chip here. Actually, I should do it over here. See, there's a chip and there's a chip. So you see a little bit of the imperfections. Not all of them. You see a little chipping up here. So I think from that scanning image, you're going to get a good idea of the condition of that card. If we look at the back, we're also going to see some chipping around the outer border. You can see there's some wear on this. When I think about condition on this one, I don't do a lot of Pokemon, so in my mind, I probably see heavy wear on this. Depending on the scale of condition, this might be so. So if I think about the way Card Dealer Pro is going to assign it, it's going to be near mint, excellent, very good, poor, things like that. I'm probably going to go somewhere around the very good on this because there's no there's no tears. There's you know, the corners are pretty firm yet, even though there's a little bit of chipping. Um, there's no creases. So I would probably go like a very good on this, just because, hey, you're going to see chipping throughout on this card, especially around the borders. But overall, it's in very good shape. So let's look at the next one. After that, next one is a 1995 Electrabuzz Basic Pokemon. Kids WB presents Pokemon. Let's see what this logo is. The first movie. That's this one right here. We get you good lighting. So there you go. You can see there's a little stamped foil logo right there. This one, corners are good as well. You don't really see any kind of chipping, so to speak of. The back looks good. Little bit of chipping up around the top. As I kind of move this around under the light. The front is pretty good with, there's this little bit of creasing starting, right? Kind of, it's almost like something clipped on it right there. But it's not through the whole card. So this is going to be probably a very good to excellent card. Let's look at the image we got out of the scanner. And there you go. So let's look at the back first. You can see a little bit of that chipping. You can see those two lines I'm talking about starting there. And they actually show a little bit at the bottom as well. I don't see them as well in the image, but with the card in my hand, you can see it. It's almost like somebody clipped a bunch of these together. But if we look at the front image, what I would be concerned about on this one is that foil stamp does not show hardly at all. The rest of the card, the image is really good, but that foil stamp, to me, that's important. I would want to capture that. This one, to me, is a no-go, and I'm actually going to delete that out of my scans because I'm not okay with that. As I look at the Machamp, I think I am okay with that. I'm going to leave that one in. But the Electrabuzz, that was a no-go for me. So let's move on to the next one. This one is, take a closer look here. This is a 2023 Stage 1 Gyarados EX. So there you go. That looks like, I guess I would call that a full holo. It's a full art image. It's got that little bit of refractor to it. So a full holo. Edges look good. There's no chipping. Look at the back. That looks really clean yet. So this might be one we would consider in excellent condition. Let's see how the image came through on that. And we'll flip over. There we go. So really nice on the full art. You don't see the holo image. If you have this in your hand and you kind of angle it at different ways under the light, you see these little triangular or diamond shaped, large diamond shaped refractor images. You don't see that at all in here. So that's a little disappointing. Similar to what we see with sports cards, right? If they're a full holo, you lose some of that imaging. However, I think this one with this full art image, that's impressive enough to sell it on its own. I think in the description of this card, it'll be like full art holo. So a buyer will know that it's a holo and it's going to have that refractor. For this particular card, if I put myself in the shoes of a buyer, I'm looking at condition and this image, and that's what makes me want it. I think I would probably go ahead and move forward with this one on the scan. There's the back side you can see. scanned pretty well. So I'm going to say that's a pass on that. I'm going to go ahead and move this one through. And then up next, what do we have? We have I'm going to get my magnifying glass out again. We've got a 2022 VMAX, Regalicki VMAX. This again, so this has got, so Panini likes to call this like a Rapture parallel. It's got millions of tiny little dots that refract the light. Again, it's a full art card. So you can see that image is full art all the way through versus the first one we looked at. This was more of a standard hollow image. Only half the card is art. This is full art. So there you get a nice look at that shimmer on that. Condition wise, I don't really see any major issues. The corners, edges look good. If we look on the back side, that also looks good. Don't really see any chipping or anything. Let's look at the image for this one. Here we go. So that's how it's scanned. So you can see that little tiny pixelization, those little dots, those refractor dots. You can see good full art. You can see kind of gradients through there as well that exist. Again, even though I can't see the refracting of the light, I think this will play. I think if you're a Pokemon shopper and the description says full art hollow, you're going to be pretty happy with that image yet. As we look at the back, nice and clean there. Look, got a little off center in the scanner. That'll happen sometimes, but you can still see the edge to know that that is clean. So I think this one will play as well. I think I'm going to pass that one through. And then we have one more that we can look at. We've got a 2020. I better not trust the naked eye on this. 2023 V-Star, Zorora V-Star. And then this is a full art hollow as well. I think I'm getting that terminology correct. So you can see a little bit of holographic image in there, kind of streaks through it as you catch the light. You get that nice full art. Get a little more under the light. Edges look good. I don't see any chipping on this one. Back looks good. Don't see any issues there. Under inspection in my hand, this looks like an excellent condition, near mint. Actually, that looks clean. Let's check out the scan on this one. And there you see it. So if we were to maybe compare, let's see, if we compare that image, even the live image here under light is a little bit dark, and you really got to turn it around to catch those images, the refractor. If I were to take just a picture of that, I don't know that it was going to come out ideal either. Some of these cards, you basically really need them in your hand to fully capture all the features. But the full art comes through good. You see nice crisp edges. You don't see any flaking on this. Again, I would talk about the description to an experienced Pokemon buyer. They're going to understand that this is going to shine in the light as well. I might pass this through as well. If I think about, so in the back of my mind, I'm saying, well, would I put a sports card through on that? I probably wouldn't. For whatever reason, in my mind, I think the buyers are different between Pokemon and sports cards. For sports cards, I think there's more casual buyers that really need to see that refractor image. For Pokemon, I feel like they expect that to be more of a refractor. So they're not as worried about the image. So I will again say I would pass this through. Back looks really nice. The image was really clean on that. So I think these images are clean. Um, and I think it's fair for us to move on to what can Card Dealer Pro do with these. So we have 4 cards that we ended up keeping. Let's see if we save those. So I use a process whereby I import them to a save folder, and I'm changing my settings right now. I don't want to save it in baseball where I was defaulted. Now I just want it in the import folder, and I'm going to hit OK. And you can see the little working wheel there happening. Now, if I go into my imports, we're going to see these are the cards that went through there. 1, 2, 3, 4 cards went through. If I open the image, the photo app, you're going to see those images in here. And you can see they all came through just fine. I have a cloud space issue where they don't sync for me. That's why you get the red X, and some of these images don't actually show the preview picture. Not a big problem. It's not something that I would expect you're going to run into. So now we can go to Card Dealer Pro, and we are going to try and add some Pokemon cards. Now, before I do that, I want to show you something else that can help you with this. I preset in my template what category this card is going to be. And in this case, I would put Pokemon in entertainment for you. So I'm going to copy that entertainment store category ID. And then I'm going to go to my connections. I'm going to view my channel settings, go to my eBay template, and I'm going to edit that. And when I do that, you can see I have an opportunity to change my store category number so that it now will default. When I list it to eBay, it's going to list it as the entertainment store category. So kind of every day, I kind of have a specific category of card that I'm going to be listing. As my start of day, I typically change that template to say, okay, everything I upload, I want it to default to baseball or basketball, or in this case, entertainment. So now we're going to add a batch, and I use the date and time that I'm uploading the batch as a batch name. So it is 3/26/24, and it is 12/39 right now. We're going to change my batch type to trading card games, and we're going to change our sport to Pokemon. And I don't have a template set up for this, so this is going to be interesting. I'm going to use the default CDP template and see what that does. Now, again, I have not, looks like there's an update to Card Dealer Pro that I need to do after this. I have not uploaded a Pokemon card before, so it's going to be interesting to see what we have on this. So, this second setting are the optional details. I can set my price. So I think I'm going to start at $2.99. Maybe I'll start at $3.99. If I want to use the preset organizational settings, I can fill those in. If I want to keep track of my purchase price or purchase date, I can do that. And then we have condition. Again, near mint, lightly played, moderately played, or heavily played. So some of these, let's see, I've got 4 cards. 3, I would say, are near mint. And then the Machamp is probably going to be heavily played. We'll go with heavily played. So they do change the lingo between sports cards and non-sports cards, the trading card games. So I'm going to default everything to near mint, and then I'll have an opportunity to change each one individually if I would like. You can also put a batch description if you would like to do that. So I'm going to create the batch, and I'm going to use the magic scan. What the magic scan does is it's going to look at the front and the back, and it's going to see if it can find a match in its database. And these are raw, not graded. So there we go. Now I can simply click and drag my scans that I saved to my computer into this box, and it's going to start working through them. It's uploading and immediately starting to look for a match as well. So let's see how it does. So now we have all 4 done. It says go ahead and continue. And 3 out of the 4, it found a match right away. The 4th one did not find a match. So this is Regelicki VMAX. And for whatever reason, it didn't find a match on here. So what we'll have to do on that one is actually go to the manual database search. And we said that is a 2022, and it is a Regelicki V Max. And so far it is not finding a match for that. And maybe I need to put in a number on this. So let's see what I can find. As I said, I'm not as experienced in Pokemon cards. I'm looking for some type of ID number on this. Let's look at 198 of 195. Does that give us anything? 198. No, it's not getting anything there. So tell you what, let's look at one of the ones that has a match and see how it listed. Okay. So SV01 Scarlet and Violet base set, 225 out of 198. So that sounds right. It matches what I see on the card, 225 out of 198. Trading cards, Pokemon, that is an EX card, so it adds that in. Name, variation, attributes, so it's an ultra rare. This is one of those ones, I feel like I would put full art on this. Oh, if I can spell it right. Full art. And then it adds it to the end of my title. And if I look at the grading condition, we've defaulted to near mint or better. Pricing and title, all that pulls from the CDP default template. So the title, it's pulling from the set and the number and the name, and then whatever we added in our variation. This is the default CDP template. This is a nice example of an SV01 Scarlet and Violet base set, 225 out of 198, Gyarados EX. Other important information about this card: full art, ultra rare. Now here's where the CDP template gets a little weird. It's geared more for sports cards. So it says in blank, Gyarados EX played for the blank. Please check out our other listings for more great cards. This is why I highly recommend that you set up your own templates. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to the custom description, and I'm going to edit this the way I would like it. This is a nice example of an SV01 Scarlet and Violet base, 225, 198, Gyarados EX. And then I'm going to put full art here. Other important information about this card: full art, ultra rare. And then I can actually delete this piece about playing for a team like this. And then I'm going to put, please check out our other great other listings for other great cards. Let's say we want an exclamation on that. We can do that. And then I think in the title, I think I actually want to share that ultra rare as well. I'm going to hit the check mark here. Let's see what this looks like now. It's a nice example of an SV01 Scarlet and Violet base set, number 225, 198, Gyarados EX full art. Other important information about this card: full art, ultra rare. Please check out other listings. Now, this is something I will call out as well. if we do the custom title, you can drop a piece of that. I'm sorry, I wanted the custom description. You can drop a piece of that to the next line. I'll do that here. But when it downloads into a spreadsheet, you got to watch out because it's going to widen one of the rows and it can obstruct your view on some things, but it's okay. So we're going to do that. And we're going to say ultra rare in the title as well because we've got some room. Full art, ultra rare. I'll actually do it like this. Full art, ultra rare. Check that. So now we see our titles updated. Now let's look at our pricing and inventory. Well, I use a SKU system, so I'm going to put 326.24. And then that'll be in there. And then I want to look, we defaulted everything to say $3.99. I want to look at any recent sales. So Gyarados EX 225 out of 198, SV01, Scarlet and Violet, near mint. So this is a good sign that our default price is pretty close. So this one sold for $3.99 plus 88 cents shipping back on February 4th. This second one sold on March 8th for $3.99 plus 63 cents shipping. February 11th sold for $3.50 plus $1.12, so basically $4.60. I price a little high because one, I offer free shipping, so I combine what I expect the cost of shipping to be with the item price. But I also promote, so because I have the expense of promoting, I price a little higher to offset that a little bit. I'm actually going to put this out there at $4.99. Oh, that actually reminds me. These examples are from my boys. So in my SKU system, I also want to market, this is my son Caleb's card. That means when it sells, I got to fork over the money to him. So this one's ready to go. We're going to hit mark ready to list. But the reason we jumped ahead to this one is we wanted to see really how that naming convention went, because we still have that Rogalski to look at. So I'm not sure what piece I need to add for the Rogalski to really get pulled in a match, but this one is ready to go. Gyarados ready to list. There we go. And that pops it into another category, so that one's done. I've fully revised that and looked at everything I need to look at. Now we can look at the Machamp. And the Machamp says deck exclusive 008 out of 102. Let me see if that matches up. It is 008 out of 102. It's got a star by it. Let's see. 8 out of 102. All that matches up. Just looking to see. We've got the illustrator on there. Now, this is one that's got some other options. So we can look at the other options. Deck exclusives, legendary collection, deck exclusives, base set shadowless. I don't know what base set shadowless moves. That's how that's how inexperienced I am in Pokemon. So I'm going to go with just this deck exclusives. I mean, if we changed it, so here we can see this this base set shadowless. We can see the image down here when we hover over that. Does it look any different than what we have? I don't know that it does. Where's that shadowless again? So if we look at our image on top, which is a perfect match with the deck exclusives listing, versus this base set shadowless here, I don't know that there's any difference in there. And I can actually, if I do a little research, Pokemon shadowless, what does that mean? Maybe you can educate me as well. What are shadowless Pokemon cards? Let's see. What does shadowless mean? It's important to know what you have and what you don't have. First edition shadowless are frequently inaccurate and claims of a particular card being extremely rare are often misleading. Turns out that just finding a vintage binder of Pokemon cards doesn't mean you have won the lottery. True, sports cards are the same issues we have. So shadowless literally refers to the lack of a shadow found in the shading of the base card. So apparently some of these cards have a shadow in the shading. So if I look at these, they've got, actually, I'll bring it over for you. Little Pokemon lesson as well. So they've got two images there, and they're saying one is regular, one is shadowless. So what I see is a little darker image on the regular, and it's lighter on the shadowless. So if I look at the card we have that we're working with here, I would say it is lighter all the way around. Although, gosh, it's still kind of tough for me to tell. Let's look at the card we have. Let's see, which one is it here? So there's the card we have. It's pretty light. Actually, I still have it up in CDP. Let's look at that. So it's pretty light all the way around, except for this one bar. This one bar here is the only thing I see darker colors on. So would that be shadowless or not? When I look at this one, there's lots of darker shadows all the way around. This one does have a little darker shading in places, but not nearly as dark. Is this a shadowless? I feel like I'm leaning towards shadowless on this one. Let's see. The difference between a shadowless and a regular base set card can be hard to tell if you don't have experience handling these cards. Amen, brother. That's where I'm at right now. Looking at a picture of a shadowless version and a regular version can help you to see the difference. It is especially noticeable on the right-hand side of the Pokemon box border, though it is visible throughout the entire background. So the regular is definitely darker. Let's see. So Wizards of the West Coast came out with a base set of Pokemon cards, sold lots of packs of these cards, and decided the cards would look better if they added a shadow in the background. Therefore, we ended up with the first few runs being shadowless and every run after having a shadow. So this is, I would say, a first run without the shadow, and this is second run with the shadow. And that's why I think it is as simple as, hey, it's a lot darker with the shadows on it. So again, if we look at the card that we have in CDP, and we look at, there's the shadowless, and then it's interesting that the shading is slightly different in the two cards, but I still feel like it's so light. Like, I don't feel like that is dark shadow. It does say actually first edition on there too. Does this one say first edition on it? It does say first edition on it. These legendary collections. So that one, the image, the border shadow matches more on the legendary edition, but that's a different number. Comes from a different set. This comes from a different set. XY Revolution, that's a different set. That's a totally different card. So here we are, stuck at a fork in the road. What are we going to do with this Machamp? Are we going to... I need MD sports cards out here. He does Pokemon. MD could help me out quite a bit with this one. I'm going to go with shadowless on this one. I just feel like if it was the shadow version, it would have a heck of a lot more shading on it. To me, that all seems very light there. It says it's a hollow rare, and that would refer to the illustrated image is hollow. Now this one, remember, this was pretty poor. It was heavily played. This had a lot of chipping on it. If we look at our title and description, deck exclusives, we're going to leave that as it is. Other important stuff about this card, now we have to go in and change that because we have not set up a default template for this. So we need to, let's see, it is a hollow rare. We're going to take out this piece that says in whatever, played for whatever. And then please check out our other great cards. I like to put a little better grammar in there. There we go. So now let's look at our pricing and inventory, see what we got. No exact matches found. Let's look at that. So what if we take out the base shadowless, or at least take some of that out? Maybe we leave shadowless and take the rest out. So this is going into a little bit of an eBay tutorial as well in searches. All right, so now we have some results. Let's go back to sold and see if something comes in then. No exact matches found. Heavily played Pokemon 8 first edition deck. $9.99 that sold for. $9.99, $6.99. I wonder what the condition was for some of these. Let's see. Condition ungraded, heavily played, and went for $9.99. So here's what I'm gonna do. And then $6.99. Lightly played went for $11.99, $6.59. I'm probably going to update this a little bit more in my title and description. I'm gonna update card shows shipping throughout. We're going to add that in there. And I actually do like to let that stand out on its own. So I'm going to add some lines in there. And then for pricing, I'm still going to go light on that. I think I'm going to go $7.99, kind of right in between what others were doing, just because I feel like that shipping makes a big difference. I might be going very light on that, knowing that, hey, other heavily, you know what, if you think about that, heavily played went for $9.99 on others. I'm going to go $9.99, and I'm going to be willing to negotiate on that if I have an interested buyer. We're going to put our SKU in and ready to list. And that brings us to Zerora. So let's make sure we've got a good match on this one. Galarian Gallery, Zerora, GG43 to GG70. I want to make sure that matches, and it does. Looking for any other distinguishing marks on this one. And the listing looks good on there. I'm not going to, well, I'll add full art on this one again, just like I did the other one, because I think that matters. It shows as an ultra rare. If we look at the condition, this one is perfect as far as I can see. Title and description, I want to adjust that a little bit, so I'm going to use my custom title. Full art, ultra rare. And then I can adjust my description a little bit. So I'm going to take out the playing days for this and add a little space to that. Other important information about this card: full art, ultra rare. There we go. And then let's look at the pricing on this, and we'll add our SKU first. And let's see. So Zerora, V-Star, Crown Zenith Gallery, ultra rare, $4.99 plus $1.87 shipping. So basically almost $7 on that. What kind of condition were they in for this one? They were in ungraded, near mint, or better. So that kind of sets the bar for us. About $7. This one sold for $9.79 near mint. So this was March 24th, March 23rd, March 13th, $8.75 plus $1.12. So basically $10. I think I'm gonna go $9.99 on this one as well. And let's see here. $9.99. And we're good to go with this one. Again, price a little high. Be willing to negotiate. You'd be surprised. You have a lot of buyers that just want to come in and get something quick too. They'll just pay full price sometimes too. And then if you're promoting, you've got a little wiggle room with that as well. So put that. Oh, you know what? We talked about we want to make sure Caleb gets credit for these ones. So I want to adjust my SKU. Caleb's in there. And adjust my SKU. Caleb is in there. So now we still have this one last draft left. No match found. So let's take another run at this. We know it's Pokemon card. Let's see. As we look at the listings for these other cards, I don't know which set this comes from, which is a challenge. So I'll tell you what, rather than have you painstakingly sit through this with me, I'm going to do some research and I'll be right back. Okay, we did a little research. I think I found a match with SWSH12 Silver Tempest 198 out of 195 Regeliki VMAX Secret. And I got this from TCG Player, which is pretty respectable. I know my boys use it all the time. They use their app. So this is kind of gives you some of the details about it. Also gives you some pricing information here. $6.98 plus shipping. Let's see. It's a secret rare ability transistor. So this talks about the game details on it. You can see the pricing on it. Was at a peak recently, March 11th to March 13th. Some were selling for $7.37. It's coming down a little bit. Near mint hollow foil. You can see how they list the condition in there. If we look at more data there, lightly played hollow foil. So this is a near mint hollow foil. I think this is another one I'm going to list at $9.99 and negotiate for. Market price $7.05. Listed medium price $7.46. Let's see how that compares to what is in Card Dealer Pro. So Silver Tempest, I'm again gonna say full art, hollow on this one. I can add all of those things in there like that. It's a secret rare that is mentioned in there. Grading condition, it's not graded. Raw condition, near mint or better. Pricing and inventory. So let's take a look and see what we get. No exact matches. Let's take some of the things I added on there out. Let's see what we get. $5 on eBay there. $8 on eBay there. Let's see. And those were this month. These were back in January. It was really low. $6.90, $7.90, $8 basically there. So yeah, I'm gonna go with $9.99, and certainly willing to negotiate. For me, I think that's a big part of buying cards. Is I think most people like the negotiation part, I guess I would say. So I'm also going to add secret rare, full art hollow. And if we had gone past our character limit, it would give us a warning there. Let's adjust our custom description a little bit. For sure, I am going to be setting up a default template just for Pokemon cards, so I don't have to adjust this anymore. Because if you're going to do a lot of cards, that gets to be a lot. So let's see. Other important information: full art, hollow. secret rare. We'll put that out there like that. And ready to list. So now we've got all 4 of our cards ready to list. We're going to export them to our eBay connection, download a CSV, and you can see that's completed already. If we return to the batch, now we should be done with that. We are done with our images here. Now we are ready to go out and actually find our download file. So if I slide this over and go to my downloads, there is our 4 items for eBay export. And it's opening up. We're going to make this as big as possible for you, but we're going to shrink the font a little bit and resize. So now you can see what I was talking about. When we add those extra lines in, it makes our rows really, really wide. So, first column here, our action, we want to add all these. We're good with that. So we'll hide that. We've got our SKUs. We got today's date and Caleb. So we missed one, so we can add it still on this spreadsheet. Caleb. So that's why we review. So we're good on our custom label, which is our SKU. We're good on, it looks like we're good on our category because we preset that, right? And store category, that's actually what we preset. So this is going to go into my entertainment store category. If I start to list more Pokemon, I probably will create its own store category. But for right now, I have it in a general entertainment category. We've got our names in here. Okay. Subtitle, relationship. I don't really use that. Condition has these API codes. So 4,000, I believe, is meaning ungraded. No, that wouldn't be it. Used. I think 4,000 means used. And then we have graded, no. It filled in our name of our game, which is Pokemon. It filled in our titles. So let's take a look what we got here. Yep. So there we go. Those are our card names. Card types. So normally it would say sports card or non-sports, I believe. So I'm going to put non-sports. Let's see what that does. I'm experimenting a little bit here, so we may run into an error with that. Let's see, specialty. We don't need that. So what we'll do is we'll remember we adjusted that card type to non-sport, and if we get an error, that's going to be what we go back to and check. We've got our character in here. We've got our rarity in here. Good there. Finish. So that's, we could add hollow in there. The Gyarados, that is also a hollow. Let's see. The Silver Tempest, VMAX, that's the Regalski, that's a hollow. The Zorora, that is also a hollow. Okay. So we're good on those. Attribute, MTG color. We're going to leave that because I think it's all in the features. And then manufacturer, I don't know if that really makes a difference. All of these are Nintendo, I believe. Let's see, Nintendo, and Nintendo. We could add that in if we like. Nintendo. And then it's as easy as just double clicking on the corner. It'll take it down. Our features are there. Our set. I've got to trust what Card Dealer Pro told me on that one. So once I look at them, I minimize those fields just to take them out of my view. So I'm looking at less. So we have heavily played for the one that had chipping, and then everything else was near mint or better. Card numbers, we've got those all set. Certification, we don't need. Type, collectible card game. It's not signed. Year of manufacture is interesting. That's not required. We could put something in there. All of these have a year on here, I believe. This one says 95, okay, 99 Wizards, 2022. Let's see. This one's hard to see with all that foil. 2023 and 2023. So then I know that Machamp, this was 1999. This was Gyarados was 2023. Rogelski was 2022. Oops. And 2023. So you can always add things to the spreadsheet as you go along. Not worried about the language. This is the picture where the picture is saved on the web where eBay is going to pull it from. We've got our description field. So this is always, this is why everything got widened out on the rows. So now we can narrow that down a little bit. There we go. Now I can see all four at once. We can see the adjustments I made. You can see exactly how it's going to post. So now there's a space between some of the lines. We've got fixed price, immediate payoff. We want to change those to 0 to allow for multi-card buys. If you don't change those to 0, each individual card they buy, they're going to fee you to death. If you turn that off, then they can put things in their cart and buy it all as one transaction, and you'll see less fees. I should probably be careful announcing that because eBay is probably not a fan of me sharing that. We're going standard envelope. Everything's good there, so we don't need any more information there. I go just money back. I don't really mess with replacement. So I'm going to finish that off there. And then buyer, and then we've got our pricing information. So everything else looks good. We're going to resize our columns so everything's showing. We'll go back over here and save. And you want to continue to use that format for CSV? Yes, you do. So now we've made our updates. We are now at a point where we've got a saved file out in our downloads. Now we can go to eBay and actually upload this. So I'm going to bring in eBay. We're going to go to reports, uploads. You want to select number 3, proceed to upload, and select your upload template. It's going to say choose the file. And there's our download file. It defaults there typically. And now you can see it's working. So let's see if my change to card type is going to cause an error. Looks like it's working so far. Still in progress. And there we go. It says your upload is completed. Now if I go to listings, those should be at the top because I have my listings sorted by start date from newest to oldest. And there you see 1, 2, 3, and 4. So those are good to go. It looks like everything came through appropriately. If we look at one of the listings as a test, you can see the image came through well. We've got our price. We've got ungraded, Pokemon card, non-sport. So the non-sport worked fine. Ultra rare, Nintendo, collectible card game. Yeah, so all that came through fine. Now, disclaimers that I would have for you. So now I can actually close my batch as well. So I'm done with that. Where did my eBay window go? There we go. Oh, that's not it. So this is TCG Player where I did some of the research if you want to use that. I also use this collector pricing to do some of the research. Here's our CDP. We're done with that. Here's our research from the hobby bin on the shadow list. That was helpful. Here's our scanner app. We're done with all these images now. We can delete those out. Where did I just want to see my eBay, and I think I might have accidentally closed eBay completely. Not what I intended to do. So let's go to my listings again. And we'll finish things up here very quickly. So one thing that I do, you'll see in all my videos if I go through listing this way, I like to bulk edit my listing. So I'll take my 4 selected. And then I'm going to bulk edit the package details. I haven't been able to figure out how I can default this, but any singles I have are going to ship by themselves in a number 6 envelope, in a sleeve and a top loader. So I set everything up to be 1 ounce in a 7x4x1 envelope. Apply that and submit all 4 of those. It tells you if there's any costs, and there are not, nor should there be. And now we are fully complete listing these 4 cards. And they'll show up here in our listings. There we go. So we have completed our demo of Pokemon cards. As I look at those cards, we had 4 that were just fine, and we had 1 that we said no to because that foil stamp there did not show up in the scan. So if I were to rate how these worked out, these full art holo cards, you don't see the refractiveness of them in the images, but you can tell they have a special finish. And in the description, we talk about them being holo cards as well. So I truly believe that anyone buying Pokemon cards is going to understand in that image exactly what they're getting. So I sent these through. Some of you may not. Some of you may choose, hey, I want to take pictures individually to really catch that light shining off of them. For me, I would say that the rating for this test with Pokemon cards was right there. Mixed. I would say mixed. We found that we didn't like the foil stamp, so we didn't scan that. We did scan through the rest of them, but there's an argument that can be made that you can get some better images on those holos if you do not use the scanner. And I would agree with that. And full disclosure, over time, I might decide that, I'm going to have better success selling some Pokemon cards if I get the image with the refracting light on it, which I can do that from my phone. So over time, I might make a change. But right now, I feel like we're okay listing those with the scanner. I thought Card Dealer Pro did okay with them. We had to look up one card, which was a little bit of a challenge for me because I'm not as familiar. What about you, Stu? What do you think? Okay, I think he agrees. Mixed results on that. But overall, I think we had a good test run on those. We listed them. We've got them out there. Hopefully that was helpful to you in understanding how to do that and also make your decision on whether or not to use that scanner. Until next time, peace out. Take care of each other.